What's up everybody? This is Tony Candales, IFBB Men's Physique Pro, coming at you with the first episode in a series of videos related to men's physique tips and tricks. For those of you who don't know me, I just turned pro at the 2014 IFBB North Americans in Pittsburgh. That was my fourth show in my first year competing. What's that? How did I do that? Funny you ask. I've been getting that question a lot ever since I got back from Pittsburgh, and that's exactly what I'm going to tell you in this series of videos. I'm going to cover tips and tricks in the three main areas of contest prep: diet and nutrition, training, and posing and presentation. I'm going to share with you some of the secrets and some of the tips and some of the tweaks that I made from one show to the next based on the feedback I received from the different panels of judges I went up in front of. What I'm going to do in this first episode, rather than focus in one of those key three areas, I'm going to give you one key secret or tip in each of those key areas to get you started off on the right foot. Let's start with training. As part of his philosophy, my coach Dave Melnikoff has me take 2 days off before each show. Now, to be honest with you, when he first brought that up to me, it totally freaked me out. I usually only take one rest day every week, and some weeks I don't rest at all because I really like to get in the gym and I really like to train. It's my form of stress relief and it's my fun, right? So what I decided to do was train every single day during contest prep, no days off, including the day right after the show. Literally, I was right back in the gym the very first day after each show. What that allowed me to do was to continue to train as hard as I wanted to, as hard as I felt like I needed to bring my best package to the stage. But what it did was it allowed me to totally deplete myself. So when I finally got those 2 rest days before the show, my body would react really positively. At the same time, I usually carb up on those days, so it really kind of filled me in, really hardened me up, and it really let me bring my best package to the stage. If you haven't tried that before, give it a shot and see if it works for you like it does for me. Anybody that's competed in bodybuilding will tell you that posing and presentation are key to bringing your best possible package to the stage and getting your best possible placing at that show. I took that for granted at my first show. I focused on the other 2 areas, right? Diet and training, right? I spent a lot of time with meal prep. I made sure I didn't I didn't cheat a single day on my diet. I was very strict. I spent hours in the gym every night training because I felt like if I came in with a physique that was so sick and so shredded that, my posing really wouldn't matter, right? I could just stand up there, do the basic stuff, and I would outshine everybody else on that stage. Boy, was I wrong, okay? I had the best physique that night, no question, and I came in 2nd place. Why? Because the guy I lost to out-presented me. He simply outposed me, okay? So after that first show, I told myself I'd never let that happen again. I was very disappointed because I put all that work in and I had failed to present my best package. So what I would recommend is every night after training, 20 to 30 minutes of posing, okay? Practice your posing. Practice makes perfect, right? So what you want to do is you want to spend time looking at your poses. You want to get that confidence in what you're doing, so when you're on stage, and especially if it's your first show or your first few shows, you're going to have a little bit of nerves, right, when you first step out on stage. You don't want to think about what you're doing, right? You want to be so confident that you know exactly what you're doing, you know exactly what you're bringing, and you get that from practice. The other thing it allows you to do is spending that much time posing, you're able to really look at all the detail in all of your poses and figure out just the best angles, right? The best way to present every pose. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and you really want to focus on exactly where you look your best, right? So again, 20 to 30 minutes of practicing posing after every training session. It's really going to give you that confidence that the judges are going to see. You're going to portray that on stage. You're going to be confident. You're going to have that showmanship that they're looking for, which is very important in men's physique. So give it a shot. Practice your posing. Trust me, you can't do enough. I typically stay in the 7 to 9% body fat range year-round. Now everybody's a little bit different here, but I feel like at that level I'm in striking range of any show I decide to do. I'm literally just a few weeks of prep away from being able to bring the best possible package to the stage. Now at that level, I also still feel like I'm strong enough and I have the endurance that I want to be able to go as hard as I want in the gym and to be able to push the weight that I want to push. Now any of you that have done contest prep before, and if you haven't, you're soon going to find out, those last few percentages of body fat are an absolute bitch to get off. Pardon my French. So what my coach Dave and I decided to do was implement a carb cycling nutritional plan to help me slowly get down to the desired level, which for me is 4 to 5%. That's where we feel like I bring my best package to the stage. In a later episode, I'm going to detail for you the exact diet that I use as my baseline for that carb cycling model. But for today, I'm going to kind of summarize the 4 days for you. On days 1 and 2, it's extremely low carbs, where all carbs are consumed in meal number 1, otherwise known as breakfast. So basically you have carbs at breakfast and the rest of the day is nothing but protein. On day 3, I consume carbs pre and post training. So the meal I have before I go to the gym and the meal I have as soon as I get home from the gym. And those are the carbs I consume on day 3. Day 4 is carbs every single meal. So it's basically a refeed day. And then the cycle repeats itself, right? So what you're doing is those first 2 days are extremely low, and that's really where you get some good conditioning in. You know, you're able to drop some body fat, you feel tight, you know, you get hard, you get dry. Day 3, you give yourself a little bit more carbs, so you get a little bit of your strength back because, you know, those first 2 days are pretty rough, especially in the gym. And then day 4 is your refeed, right? So you're kind of tricking your body on day 4. You're saying, hey, here you go, right? I'm giving you what you want back. And your body responds very positively, right? You're gonna get a big pump that day. Little known to your body, the very next day you're gonna go back to day 1, which is almost no carbs again, right? So it's a nice cycle. It keeps your body from shutting down. If you go too long without carbs, then your body wants to retain everything, right? And you're gonna have trouble cutting those last few percentages of body fat. So it works really well. And what I found is it kind of brings you down nice and slow so you don't absolutely kill yourself. But you definitely are able to see changes, you know, from 1 week to the next. The other thing too is towards the end of my contest prep, we start to introduce some more intense cardio. And especially on those low carb days, those 2 first days of the cycle, that really is going to get you down to that caloric deficit and really get your conditioning in tune. So the cardio is adjusted based on how everything else is coming along. But typically late in prep, I like to add the cardio to really kind of get that last bit of dryness and hardness in to get ready for the show. So if you haven't tried that before, or you don't know what carb cycling is, Google it. Well, that's going to do it for this first episode of Men's Physique Tips with IFBB Pro Tony Candales. Hopefully you got something positive out of this episode. You learned a few things. For the rest of the episodes, we're going to focus on one area for each episode. So there'll be several tips related to just diet nutrition, tips related to just training, and tips related to just posing and presentation. But for this first one, I kind of wanted to give you a feel for the type of information you're going to get, and hopefully with each key tip I gave you in all 3 of the areas, kind of get you started on the right foot. Please follow the channel and also follow the social media links you see here at the bottom of the screen. That way you'll be alerted when new videos go up. And you can also follow me as I prepare to compete at the pro level next year. I've got a few months to do what I need to do to be able to be very competitive there. So until next time, stay swole and leave it all in the gym each and every time. Peace.